All right. Let me check that everything is working. I guess audio is being captured, but let me ensure. Okay, does it work? Okay, does it work? All right. I guess everything is fine. Let me bring the music so I will not forget about it. So here everything is synchronized. Yeah, so to be honest, it was quite busy week and I didn't have that much of the time to prepare, but still I think I did all the necessary stuff. Uh, well, pretty much I promised that I will try to figure out masses and fix that, which I did. So right now everything is not like flying around like crazy. We still can push stuff, especially the box. That was my goal. But now everything is more or less reasonable. Yeah. So, okay, let's go through changes. The most important thing, character controller has this parameter. It shows how hard we are pushing stuff. Effectively, character controller doesn't have any own mass. Mass is 0. And yeah, it's fully controlled by these functions. Yeah, by this. So you add gravity manually, pretty much. And it's actually interesting. I hope you know that falling speed doesn't really depend on mass, because if you remember energy conservation formula, you can just, strike out mass on both sides of the equation, and only what's matter is the height from which you start falling from. And in real world example, of course, there is air friction, air resistance effects, and your square area. Those are things that actually are affecting falling speed, but not the mass. So yeah, I didn't touch the mass. Okay, let it be 0. So the character controller cannot be disturbed by inbound collisions, but we can edit strength, pushing strength. By default, it's actually very, very high. It's 10 in the power of 38. But I think this is the reasonable one from my experiments. And here I did some changes. Well, I made the box, the crate, lighter. At the same time, I increased friction for cylinders, so they stick to the surface when they are in a vertical position. I think that prevents them from flying around on initial collision. which I believe related with some internal miscalculations. That's what I did here. Also for weapons, I added mass. This is for weapons that are lying on the ground. So I added this parameter here, and it goes here, obviously. And for rocket launcher specifically, I set it 9, a bit heavier than our guns. And so here we have it. Nothing is flying around like crazy. You still can push stuff. You can roll cylinders. You can knock them over. Well, overall it looks okay now. Acceptable. And I also did more tests regarding saving and loading. And I think overall it looks okay, and I want to believe we're done with this. Let me stage that and let's go. Let's walk through all the files once again to recheck what we have done. So here, okay, player camera is gone, now just player. And yeah, so here, yeah, I removed the pushable property because every physical object is now pushable by default, which makes sense why otherwise we would make them physical objects. So those are obvious changes. Here, again, no player camera anymore, just a player. Let's go viewer. Yeah, we removed destructible object as assignable field. Now it's just getter. We'll see it in more details later. So for physical meshes, yeah, pretty much delete pushable property. For red barrel as well, exactly same story. Projectiles, okay, I applied finally the right formula, the right logic for rotation vector. Yeah, I talked about that quite a lot in previous streams. Yeah, tweaked spawn position, tweaked this formula so it works correctly, so it rotates actually projectile spawning point together with actor or with its gun, for example. That's why we have shooting ref here. Yeah, so we spawn projectile in the point, which is always in the front. Here is some refactoring. Also for rockets, yeah, again, we just add spawn point. For weapons we did fix, I fixed the drop weapon for grenade, because we had troubles with that animation. Here, added mass, edited projectile spawn position. With Saiga, okay, I removed this one because I want to rely on default spawn position in the weapon class, so I pretty much want to rely on this one. That's why I removed it here. And yeah, okay, chain entity, the most important. So destructible object now can be read from the mesh with a function, but this function can be overridden in case if we store destructible object somewhere else, which is the case for a player, right? So for explosion manager, yeah, pretty much with accessing destructible object, and we have like two parallel arrays, one keep reference for the mesh that we're checking collisions with, just to check that we're hitting mesh with explosion or not, and we have collection of destructible objects. In parallel, eventually it should be a little bit later, because I'm thinking at some time in the future revisit sectors manager, and I think this thing will go away entirely, and this branch will be removed also. Maybe here some improvements will follow. And regarding explosion manager, this like damage stack, it had some idea behind, but I'm really thinking maybe I should consider it's like you know, more like how it's done. It's in Doom or Half-Life to set them on fire, like literally one by one in some way. I have some intrusive thoughts on back of my head that maybe I should rethink it, make it easier, and not try to accumulate all explosions in one frame, but maybe like really like distribute them in some way. Okay, here we removed this because it's not relevant, and here we just like fixed tooltips pretty much. So now that information is accessible directly from player. For the level, we change logic how the player is being loaded, and for this very reason, when we trying to restore destructible object on the node, we're not only checking meshes but also transform nodes. That's okay. Saving logic obviously changed, so we removed pushable flag. We put player related fields here and removed it like from camera anymore. We're not using camera as a separate thing anymore. So here, removed pushable property, not needed. Player, a lot of things going on. It doesn't receive camera as dependency injection anymore. In fact, it initialized its own. And some parameters fixed. Camera holder, so it can survive some matrix transformations. We bring front ray here. What else? Jumping, crouching, rewritten completely, as well as movement, input, perception. We're doing all of this in order to utilize BABYLON.PhysicsCharacterController that keeps some things inside, so we don't need to write it on ourselves like we did before. Like this thing, now it's all here. And create not on the transform mode, I mean destructible object on the transform mode. Here just like some adjustments, so we synchronize our logic with character controller. This is how we reference destructible object. Right now it's a getter in chain entity, as I mentioned, and for player specifically, we're extracting it from transform mode. All of that is character controller related, so we can integrate our speed components. So part of it goes through from direction. So input direction is pretty much a flag changed with a keyboard input forward to backward, left to right. So we scale it. On the direction. So here, this is our combined speed when we normalize to prevent SR40 bug, so-called. And yeah, also add the falling speed in place and ensure that it doesn't increase terminal velocity. Yeah, so if we are unsupported, falling speed increases. If we are supported, it's obviously 0. We add jumping, crouching, forward tray. Yeah, before step handler, it's right now. This is where we actually set our velocity and synchronize with the mesh and cast tray. This is sector management on touch. Yeah, and input handler, a bit more verbose probably, but yeah, so as I said, inputs just change input direction. Here we can jump, crouch. This is for rotation. When we move mouse, we synchronize mesh rotation, and through mesh, camera gets synchronized because camera parented to the mesh through the camera holder, right? Where is it? Yeah, so, well, hitbox is the mesh, essentially. Yeah. This is how it works. We got rid of player camera file completely. Now it's part of a player. And here are some just adjustments. Some tweaks here and there. Yeah, we fixed drop weapon again to drop it into correct location. Yeah, but we discussed all of that. Here is just small bug that I found. This is very legacy code. In fact, it should be redone completely because we're not using physics imposters anymore. For world builder, we just watched it today. I just corrected some masses. And finally, some like version updates. Those are actually necessary to make character controller work. So I guess let's submit it. How it's what is the full name of this thing? Okay. Commit stage. Now I actually want to merge that. If something goes wrong, we can just like remove this commit, I guess. There should not be any conflicts because I didn't do anything intermediate. Just because there is a lot and just because there was a chance that I will need to fix something in the master, I spread it into a separate branch. But since I'm the only one who is working on it, there is no really need to worry about this stuff that much. So let me see. But yeah, I mean, should not be a problem at all. Yeah, works fine, and we got rid of some files. Now, another problem, I still found a lot of sound bugs that needs to be addressed, and I'm sure the issue is deep. We are not going to tackle it. So what's the problem? Let me just briefly introduce you. When I shoot, sound is following me as expected, but look what's happening with explosive. If I explode here, it's loud. If I go far, it's still as loud, so it doesn't decay, but if I explode it here, you barely can hear it. So it feels like the sound registration listener is still located somewhere here at the initial coordinates, and this works for explosions. It doesn't matter where I am located. It only matters how far explosion is happening from the center. That's a problem. And this also actually applies to this. So, okay, let me maybe collect more health so I can survive longer. Actually, health pickup sounds also sounds like cut. Okay, this thing. Hey. The closer it to the center, the better you hear it. But if it's happening like far away, here you don't hear attacks at all, even if you're really close. But if you go to the center, you hear it. So some sounds goes through that invisible spot, and some sound seems to be attached to the player. The issue is very deep, and it will take time. I'm not going to debug it today, but just let me see. We have 3 buses, and okay, let me maybe close some excessive files. For example, yeah, let's compare projectile sound, like shooting sound, and every other sound. You can do like, yeah, play fire sound. Weapon sound, single. So where do we initialize it? Yeah, so here we spatial enable true, maximum instance is 4. We attach it to SFX bus. This is the sound we played pretty much. So we need to debug what is being played here. Now let's take a look for explosions, for example. Exponential equal power, spatial max instances 1. Let's just compare that two. Okay. SFX. Okay, here is specific. $80 and 2, 80 and 0.5. The thing is that I don't really see any difference. Okay, it's spatial enabled, but where? Single shot sound, play, weapon sounds. We just call play it, right? So let me okay, we play it regardless position. Okay, so how about here? Okay, the problem is not the definition, because definition is pretty much equal. The difference is in the play logic. Okay, we using as audio stack here, which is fine. So we go to audio manager, we have push. But again, we just play it. Oh. That's very interesting. Both sounds are definitely attached to how to say, attached to the correct bus, but how about like I see that the position is not being attached actually. Yes, this one is enabled, but what we do, we just play it, and it heard very well everywhere. The second one we do the same. Okay, here we assign actually position, spatial and position. Well, first of all, the position here is correct because we can see where it's being created, right? So yeah, particle helper, and we create it at the correct location. So this is what different. Maybe this thing is broken. And I believe the same true for monster. Let's see. Okay, let's say single shot. Okay, I don't see anything position related to the sounds. So okay. I mean, I understand explosion. I don't understand why I don't hear anything else. It feels like maybe listener is broken again. Let's just check. Dependencies, managers, and managers. Where is it at all? I see. I think we initialized it earlier. I think it's a current level itself. Yeah. Okay, listener. Okay. We have listener where, but okay. Suffix bus. Out bus. Okay. This is the main bus. Yeah, default. It all goes there, and engine and listener. And listener position. Yeah, okay. Listener is where? Where did it go? I believe attached it in the correct way. Okay, then player. Oh, okay. Did I just broke it? And that cannot be. Okay, it actually might be a thing. Yeah. It can be here. Okay, it's not found here, but might be in the camera that I yeah. This is a thing. Okay, that's yeah. Okay, I see where I broke it. Okay, that's fine. That explains all that stuff. Okay, let's bring it back. So we do it after camera initialization. Let's just do it here. Do we still have audio manager here? No. Okay. Okay, I guess this is where it breaks. Yeah, it was supposed to be part of migration. Can I do it in a nice and quick way? So how we were doing that before? Let's say land sound. Okay, just if sound play. Okay, that's actually should be easy. Now let me guess, we don't have sounds. Okay. So just need to play it. Okay, jump. Okay, with jump is easy. With length, however, it's a bit more challenging. So when we're falling, when we land? That's a good question. Because okay, we jump through. When do we set it false? Only here, right? Thing is that we should not play it all the time when we support it. We need to play it only when we like land it. So yeah, we will need to do some workaround about it. And now a bigger problem, we don't really have audio manager here. So let's do it. Okay. This audio manager. Load player, but don't really need it here. Okay, dynamic data. Yeah, we definitely need this. It's player. Do we use health? Not really. I think we can assign it. Okay. Okay, so if we go here, okay, audio manager, here we just loading player. Oh, okay, I see where it goes. Okay, we'll bring health back. Load player. Actually, I think we can simplify it a lot. So I will bring it back here. I mean, this function level. We have controls manager in the level, really. We don't need it here. audio manager. Okay, load player. Okay, where did we crash? Okay, it's new player. We have scene. We have controls manager, key bindings. This, okay. Have audio manager. We have okay. And we need to attach. Okay, I see. Yeah. Let's attach. Well, we can attach either camera as it was before or hitbox. Let's do with camera like we did before. Is player camera. That probably will fix it in a way. Yeah, okay. We found the root cause and we fixed it a little bit. So pretty much, unfortunately, yeah, it will be like migration part 2, but that's okay. I could really like amend it to the previous branch, but whatever, it's a small fix. The only thing that we need to address is when to play land sound. Let's actually check jump sound. Okay, this sound is working, I guess. Now we need to detect when to play landing sound, and I maybe will need to add some detection logic here, but I will think about it separately. So let's just do it on the next one. I also revise, maybe I find some more missing pieces. But yeah, I mean, at least we finished with the core part and we know now what's the problem, and it's not like that deep. We even fixed it partially. All right, I think that's it for today, and I plan to see you next Sunday. Have a nice upcoming week.